to do that because the boards are here. So
Yeah, the Part A reports. Yep, so number 14, please.
Good morning. I had a few notes about the history of Marine Parade, but I think Paul's covered those off, so I'll avoid those. 2 points I will make. One, this project is fully funded from CRAF, the Christchurch Regeneration Acceleration Funding, so that's the source of money for this. And the second point is this was approved by the board on the 9th of December, so the only bits that council is approving are the two-way cycleway and the shared path on the eastern side of Marine Parade. And I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Moved by Celeste.
Okay, it's moved by Celeste and seconded by Kelly. Okay. I've just got one question. Option, just, and you may have said this, and sorry, I was busy just the option C was $1.6 million more, roughly.
Than one of the options. So there were two options originally.
Right.
One was sort of 4-ish, one was sort of 4.5-ish.
Yeah. But all of the 1.6 extra is being used out of CRAF money. So
It's all coming out of CRAF money, yes.
Sorry, you may have said that.
So there's still a little bit of money left in that CRAF programme, which we can look at how we use once we've tendered it and we know exactly how much this is
No,
going to
that's
cost.
right. So we've got a mover and seconder as in. Do we do debate? Your question? Yeah.
Do the wards have different?
That's out of the New Brighton suburb because it's suburban related. So this is the Eastern New Brighton related.
You can't make it. Okay.
Debate.
So we're now in debate. Okay, is that right? So Celeste, do you want to go first?
Well, I just want to start by sort of acknowledging that transport projects, as we know, aren't always the easiest. And we've been on a bit of a journey with this one. So I think it's important to kind of celebrate sometimes the successes. And I think this is a good example of a really successful project. We often hear about working with community and not doing things to community, and that's a constant refrain, particularly in the eastern suburbs. And I think this project in particular is an exemplar of what works well when you work with community, and that was reflected through the feedback that we received. So option C was developed in response to the initial consultation, and that went out and we got feedback on that, and what the board understood was that we hadn't quite landed on the right option. So we asked staff and worked well together to request to put out a third option, option C. And as part of that option C, we worked closely with the community. So we workshop where we wanted to go with that and perhaps where we hadn't landed on quite the right option. And the community had made it clear through the initial consultation that they was a mix of things that they wanted, which was a mix of improvements for safety and cyclists, alongside retaining as much on-street parking as possible, whilst also upgrading the road. It's quite a lot of things, actually. But option C did a great job of synthesising that feedback and coming back with a really practical option that reflected the majority of views. So that proposal that came back to the community board received almost 89% support, which is pretty amazing. We also had a number of submissions from community organisations, and all of those community organisations supported it, local community organisations. We also heard from advocacy groups and the AA, both of which supported it. And what that showed was that by working with community and actually listening and coming back with something new, we got to a really good place. So the key features of the design, as you'll see, are about creating a shared pathway for walkers and cyclists, upgrading the road surface on a really critical stretch of the road, additional landscaping and safer pedestrian crossings. I also want to take the time to thank staff. I think the fact that staff, the community board and the community work so well together on this project is really something to be commended. I'd like to finish by just sharing some words that I was sent by a member of the community that was closely involved in this project, because it was a very community-led project. So Esther Perriam, a long-time New Brighton resident, a business owner who lives on the stretch of road that will be upgraded, had this to say. She said, "Option C was created by staff who took the opportunity to learn from information gathered during the initial consultation. They really listened and considered the many viewpoints and opinions offered. Most of all, they tried to find wins for everyone. Option C is better for walkers, cyclists, parents pushing prams, people who might have mobility challenges, people who drive cars, people who live here, and people who visit here. Of course, not everyone got what they wanted, but everyone got something." And her wish is that this is only the beginning of our plans to develop the foreshore area. It builds on the investment made in the playground, the pier, the library, and Hipuna Taimoana. It recognises that other individuals or businesses are making investments in New Brighton, and this option provides a better, safer, more attractive roadway which will enhance this area in the future. So I just want to finish with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Did you have your hand up? Yep, far away, please.
Yeah, look, I'm really pleased to support this. I've been watching it for a long time. When I started out in council as chair of the community board 5 years ago, this project first came to us. I feel like it shows how we've evolved as a council, particularly with consultation. The staff have been brilliant over this and come with good options, and the consultation has been amongst the best I've seen for something in the New Brighton area. I think C is a good option. It certainly makes sense. I think initially some of the community were horrified at the loss of potential loss of 102 parks, but I think they came to a really good sort of sensible solution. The history is interesting. When this craft money came to us, current mayor was a city councillor for Bowhill at the time. We were given this pot of money and a suggestion that we look at doing stuff that was already on the transport team's radar, upgrades of various streets. And in hindsight, I kind of wished we had gone with that, but we were given the opportunity to make that decision, and we looked at all sorts of things like improving New Brighton Road and found out that wasn't possible with where we wanted to do it. And so this was, I guess, as upgrading Marine Parade was something that we were really keen to see happen down the track. So I'm really pleased that we've got to this stage. It's not perfect, but it's a darn sight better than it would have been. And a lot of that has come down to the fact that staff listened really carefully to the consultation and came up with a good solution. So it'll be good to close this off and see the changes in New Brighton, and hopefully we can work towards the rest of the road down to the Waimari Beach Club. So happy to support this today.
Yanni, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy to support this option, and I think this should really, hopefully, can be a role model and a really good learning moment for council to look at how we do things, particularly where you do have some contention and some controversy, but to actually spend the time working and engaging and having a iterative design process with the local community, with council staff and elected members, you can actually get really good results. So I hope that we can look at the lessons from this and what's worked really well and apply them to some of the other more contentious projects like Wheels to Wings, like the Te Aratai Cycleway, for example, and try and work and understand how we can balance the needs of so many different people in a community and come up with a result that is overwhelmingly supported, right? I think we all benefit when we get that. Rather than having a win-lose, we get a win-win. It was Martin Luther King Day not too long ago. I just want to start. I have a dream that we have fantastic coastal pathways in our city. As someone who was involved in and really supportive of it from the start of the coastal pathway through from Sumner back into Ferrymead, I see the same opportunity in Brighton, right? We've got an amazing asset in terms of our natural environment, and the opportunity to have a dream of having a really good pathway, the length of the road along the coast, I think will do wonders for not just the local community, but actually for the city. So if we have a really cool network of paths that enable people to cycle, to walk, to be active, and to enjoy our natural environment and come into our local communities, connected from neighbouring communities and into the central city, then I think we're all better off as a result. And I'm glad that we're the happiest city in New Zealand, I think. So that's good news. And things like this help contribute to that. So I'm really supportive of it. I do want to commend the staff, which I'm sure this has been, a very time-consuming process and project for them. But I think ultimately we got to a really good outcome, and I'm really happy to support it. And I have a dream that we can look at other stages along the same corridor to really make the most of this wonderful opportunity.
Okie doke. Right. Thank you, everybody. So we've got Aaron.
I'll just quickly say I have a dream that we'll one day be able to afford Yanni's dreams and we can all be happy.
Right. Moving right along. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Against? Thank you. That's carried. So now we're